FTSE 100 Index.
The FTSE 100 Index, also called FTSE 100, FTSE, or, informally, the FTSE/FTSE/, is a share index of the 100 companies listed on the London Stock Exchange with the highest market capitalisation. It is one of the most widely used stock indices and is seen as a gauge of business prosperity for business regulated by UK company law. The index is maintained by the FTSE Group, a subsidiary of the London Stock Exchange Group. The index began on January 3, 1984 at the base level of 1,000. The highest value reached to date is 6,950.6, on December 30, 1999. After falling during the financial crisis of 2007 to 2010 to below 3,500 in March 2009, the index recovered to a peak of 6,091.33 on February 8, 2011, fell under the 5,000 mark on the morning of September 23, 2011, but reached 6,865.86 at the market close on February 24, 2014, its highest close since 1999.
Overview.
The index is maintained by the FTSE Group, a now wholly owned subsidiary of the London Stock Exchange which originated as a joint venture between the Financial Times and the London Stock Exchange. It is calculated in real time and published every 15 seconds when the markets is open. The FTSE 100 consists of the largest 100 qualifying UK companies by full market value. The constituents of the index are determined quarterly, on the Wednesday after the first Friday of the month in March, June, September and December. The values used to make the changes to the indices are taken at the close of business the night before the review. FTSE 100 companies represent about 81% of the entire market capitalisation of the London Stock Exchange. Even though the FTSE All-Share Index is more comprehensive, the FTSE 100 is by far the most widely used UK stock market indicator. Other related indices are the FTSE 250 Index, which includes the next largest 250 companies after the FTSE 100, the FTSE 350 Index, which is the aggregation of the FTSE 100 and 250, FTSE Small Cap Index and FTSE Fledgling Index. The FTSE All-Share aggregates the FTSE 100, FTSE 250 and FTSE Small Cap. Component companies must meet a number of requirements set out by the FTSE Group, including having a full listing on the London Stock Exchange with a sterling or euro-denominated price on the Stock Exchange electronic trading service, and meeting certain tests on nationality, free float, and liquidity. Continuous trading on the London Stock Exchange starts at 8 o'clock and ends at 16:30, when the closing auction starts, and closing values are taken at 16:35.
Weighting.
In the FTSE indices, share prices are weighted by market capitalisation, so that the larger companies make more of a difference to the index than smaller companies. The basic formula for these indices is: the free float adjustment factor represents the percentage of all issued shares that are readily available for trading. The factor is then rounded up to the nearest multiple of 5%. To find the free float capitalisation of a company, first find its market cap, number of shares x share price, then multiply by its free float factor. Free float capitalisation, therefore, does not include restricted stocks, such as those held by company insiders.
Constituents by market capitalization as of March 5, 2013.
The following table lists the FTSE 100 companies measured by market capitalization as of March 5, 2013. The numbers of employees are taken from company reports, mostly dated between 2011 and 2012. The index consists of 100 companies, but there are 101 listings, as Royal Dutch Shell has both A and B class shares listed. Schroders non-voting shares were also listed until June 1, 2012 when the FTSE stricter rules came into force.
Current constituents.
The current constituents following the changes of March 24, 2014 are as follows. Aberdeen Asset Management, Admiral Group, Agreco, Anglo-American, Antofagasta, Arm Holdings, Ashtead Group, Associated British Foods, AstraZeneca, Aviva, Babcock International, BAE Systems, Barclays, Bharat Developments, BG Group, BHP Billiton, British American Tobacco, British Land Company, British Sky Broadcasting Group, BT Group, Bunzl, Burberry Group, Capita, Carnival, Centrica, Coca-Cola Hellenic, Compass Group, CRH, Diageo, EasyJet, Experian, Fresnillo, G4S, GKN, GlaxoSmithKline, Glencore Strata, Hummerson, Hargreaves Lansdowne, HSBC, IMI, Imperial Tobacco, International Consolidated Airlines Group, Intercontinental Hotels Group, Intertc Group, ITV, Johnson Matthey, Kingfisher, Land Securities Group, Legal & General, Lloyds Banking Group, London Stock Exchange Group, Marks & Spencer, Meggitt, Melrose, Mondi, W.M. Morrison Supermarkets, National Grid, Next, Old Mutual, Pearson, Persimmon, Petrofac, Prudential, Randgold Resources, Reckitt Benckiser, Reed Elsevier, Resolution, Wrexham, Rio Tinto Group, Rolls-Royce, Royal Bank of Scotland Group, Royal Dutch Shell, Royal Mail, RSA Insurance Group, Submila, Sage Group, J. Sainsbury, Schroders, Scottish and Southern Energy, Severn Trent, Shire, Smith & Nephew, Smiths Group, Sports Direct, Standard Chartered Bank, Standard Life, St James's Place, Tesco, Travis Perkins, TUI Travel, Twilio Oil, Unilever, United Utilities, Vodafone, WE Group, Whitbread, William Hill, Wolseley, WPP Group.
Past constituents.
3i Group, market capitalization fell too low. Abbey Life, became subsidiary of Lloyds TSB in 1996, then sold to Deutsche Bank in 2007. Abbey National, acquired by Banco Santander Central Hispano, now part of its Santander UK subsidiary. African Barrick Gold, market capitalization fell too low. Alliance and Leicester, acquired by Banco Santander Central Hispano, now part of its Santander UK subsidiary. Alliance Boots, acquired by private equity fund controlled by Kohlberg Kravis Roberts. Alliance Trust, market capitalization fell too low. Allied Domecq, acquired by Pernod Ricard. Allied Zurich, dual holding company along with Zurich Allied, companies unified in 2000 to form Zurich Financial Services. AMEC, market capitalization fell too low. Amersham, acquired by GE, now part of its GE Healthcare division. Amstrad, acquired by British Sky Broadcasting. Argos, acquired by GUS and now owned by Home Retail Group. Argyle Group, renamed Safeway in 1996, then taken over by Morrisons in 2004. Arjo Wiggins Appleton, acquired by Worms & C. Asda Group, acquired by Walmart. BAA, acquired by Ferrovial. Balfour Beatty, market capitalization fell too low. Baltimore Technologies, acquired by Oryx International Growth Fund. Bank of Scotland, merged with Halifax to form HBOS, now part of the Lloyds Banking Group. Bharat Developments, market capitalization fell too low. BAS, became Six Continents and then Intercontinental Hotels Group. Beecham Group, merged with SmithKline and then with Glaxo to become GlaxoSmithKline. Beresford, renamed Inodis, subsequently acquired by the Manitowoc Company. BET, formerly British Electric Traction, acquired by Rentokil, now Rentokil Initial. BICC, renamed Balfour Beatty. Blue Arrow, acquired by Corporate Services Group. Blue Circle Industries, acquired by Lafarge. BOC, acquired by the Lined Group. Bowater, renamed Wrexham. Boacom Technology, renamed Aclaro and now traded on Nasdaq. BPB Industries, acquired by Saint-Gobain. Bradford and Bingley, branch network acquired by Banco Santander Central Hispano, now part of its Santander UK subsidiary. Loans Book nationalised. Brambles Industries, now only listed on the Australian Securities Exchange. British Aerospace, merged with Marconi Electronic Systems to form BAE Systems. British Airways, merged with Iberia to form International Airlines Group. British Home Stores, acquired by Storehouse and then sold to Philip Green. British Steel, merged with Koning-Klyde-Hoogevens NV to become Chorus Group, itself now part of Tata Steel. British and Commonwealth, collapsed in 1990. Britoil, acquired by BP. BTR, merged with SEEB to form BTR SEEB, subsequently renamed Invens. Burma Oil, renamed Burma Castrol and acquired by BP. Burton Group, renamed Arcadia and acquired by Philip Green. Cable and Wireless Worldwide, market capitalization fell too low. Cadbury, acquired by Kraft Foods. Cairn Energy, market capitalization fell too low. Carlton Communications, merged with Granada to form ITV. Carphone Warehouse Group, market capitalization fell too low. Celtec, acquired by UCB in 2004. CMG, merged with Logica to form Logica Inc. Coates Biella, acquired by Guinness Peat Group and renamed Coates. Cobham, market capitalization fell too low. Colt Telecom Group, market capitalization fell too low. Commercial Union Assurance, merged with General Accident to form CGU, itself now part of Aviva. Consolidated Goldfields, acquired by Hanson. Cookson Group, market capitalization fell too low. Chorus Group, acquired by Tata Steel, now forming its Tata Steel Europe division. Courtaulds, demerged into two businesses acquired by Sara Lee and Akzo Nobel. Croda International, market capitalization fell too low. Daily Mail and General Trust, market capitalization fell too low. Dalgety, renamed PIC International and then Saigon International and subsequently acquired by Genus. Debenhams, market capitalization fell too low. De La Rue, market capitalization fell too low. Dimension Data Holdings, market capitalization fell too low, subsequently acquired by Nippon Telegraph and Telephone. Distillers, acquired by Guinness and now part of Diageo. Dixons Group, renamed to DSG International and then Dixons Retail. Market capitalization also fell too low. Doughty Group, acquired by TI Group, itself now part of Smiths Group. DSG International, renamed Dixons Retail. Market capitalization also fell too low. Eagle Star, acquired by BAT Industries and then demerged as part of Zurich Financial Services. Eastern Group, acquired by Texas Utilities and then Powergen, now part of EON UK. ECC Group, acquired by Imetal. Edinburgh Investment Trust, market capitalization fell too low. Electric Components, market capitalization fell too low. EMAP, acquired by Apex and the Guardian Media Group. EMI Group, acquired by Terra Firma Capital Partners, now owned by Citigroup. Energies, acquired by Cable and Wireless. English China Clays, acquired by Imetal. Enterprise Inns, market capitalization fell too low. Enterprise Oil, acquired by Royal Dutch Shell. SR Energy, market capitalization fell too low. Eurasian Natural Resources Corporation, market capitalization fell too low. Eurotunnel, market capitalization fell too low. Evraz, market capitalization fell too low. Exco International, acquired by British and Commonwealth Holdings. Excel, acquired by Deutsche Post. Ferranti International, collapsed in 1993. Ferexpo, market capitalization fell too low. First Group, market capitalization fell too low. Physons, acquired by Rohnpool and Crora, now Sanofi Aventis. Foreign and Colonial Investment Trust, market capitalization fell too low. Forte, acquired by Granada, now ITV. Freeserve, acquired by France Telecom, now Orange. Friends Provident, acquired by Resolution Limited. Gallia Group, acquired by Japan Tobacco. Gateway Corporation, renamed Summerfield, subsequently acquired by the Cooperative Group. GEC, formerly General Electric Company, renamed Marconi and then Talent. General Accident, merged with Commercial Union to form CGU, itself now part of Aviva. George Wimpey, merged with Taylor Woodrow to form Taylor Wimpey. Glaxo Wellcome, merged with SmithKline Beecham to form GlaxoSmithKline. Globe Investment Trust, acquired by British Coal Pension Fund. Granada Compass, split in 2001 to leave Granada and Compass Group. Granada, merged with Carlton Communications to form ITV. Greenhills Group, renamed De Vere Group and then acquired by a joint venture of private investors. Grand Metropolitan, merged with Guinness to form Diageo. Guardian Royal Exchange, acquired by AXA. Guinness, merged with Grand Metropolitan to form Diageo. GUS, now demerged into Home Retail Group and Experian. Habitat Mothercare, merged with British Home Stores to form Storehouse and subsequently renamed Mothercare again. Halifax Group, merged with a Bank of Scotland to form HBOS. Hambro Life, renamed Allied Dunbar and acquired by BAT Industries and then demerged as part of Zurich Financial Services. Hansen, acquired by Heidelberg Cement. Harrisons and Crisfield, renamed Elementis. Hawker Siddeley, acquired by BTR, now Invens. Hayes, market capitalization fell too low. HBOS Group plc, acquired by Lloyds TSB, now Lloyds Banking Group. Hillsdown Holdings, acquired by Hicks, Muse, Tate and First and then sold on as Premier Foods. Home Retail Group, market capitalization fell too low. House of Fraser, acquired by Borger. ICAP, market capitalization fell too low. Imperial Chemical Industries, acquired by AkzoNobel. Imperial Continental Gas Association, broke up into Keller and Contibel. Inchcape, market capitalization fell too low. Energy Holdings, renamed NPOWE and acquired by RWE. And Mersat, market capitalization fell too low. International Power, acquired by GDF Suez. Intu Properties, market capitalization fell too low. Invens, market capitalization fell too low. Invesco, moved primary listing to New York Stock Exchange. Investec, market capitalization fell too low. Jaguar, acquired by Ford and then by Tata Motors. Kazakhmys, market capitalization fell too low. Kelder Group, acquired by Saltair Water Consortium, a consortium of investment companies including Citigroup and HSBC. Kingston Communications, renamed KCOM Group and market capitalization fell too low. QuickSave Group, merged with Summerfield. Ladbrokes, market capitalization fell too low. Laporte, major divisions acquired by Kohlberg Kravis Roberts. Lasmo, acquired by Eni. Lattice Group, merged with National Grid to form National Grid Transco. Logica, market capitalization fell too low. London Electricity, acquired by Electricité de France, now part of its EDF Energy division. LONHRO, renamed Lonmin. Lonmin, market capitalization fell too low. Lucas Industries, merged with Varity to form Lucas Varity, then acquired by TRW. Lucas Varity, acquired by TRW. Magnet and Southerns, acquired by Beresford. Man Group, market capitalization fell too low. Maxwell Communications Corporation, collapsed in 1991. MB Caradon, renamed Caradon and then Nova, then acquired by Honeywell. MEPC, acquired by Liconport Estates. Mercury Asset Management, acquired by Merrill Lynch. MFI Furniture, renamed Galiform and then Howden Joinery and market capitalization fell too low. Midlands Electricity, acquired by Aquila Sterling, now part of EON UK. Midland Bank, acquired by HSBC. MIS, market capitalization fell too low. Mitchells and Butlers, market capitalization fell too low. National Westminster Bank, acquired by Royal Bank of Scotland Group. NFC, merged with Ocean Group to form Excel, now part of Deutsche Post. Northern Foods, market capitalization fell too low, before being acquired by Ranjit Boparan. Northern Rock, market capitalization fell too low, before being nationalized. Norwich Union, merged with CGNU to form Aviva. Nicum Damisham, acquired by GE. O2, renamed Telefonica Europe following acquisition by Telefonica. Orange, acquired by Manisman and then by France Telecom, now Orange. Party Gaming, market capitalization fell too low, before merging with Bwin to become Bwin Party Digital Entertainment. P&O, acquired by Dubai Ports World. P&O Princess Cruises, merged with Carnival Corporation and relisted as Carnival plc. Pennon Group, market capitalization fell too low. Persimmon, market capitalization fell too low. Petrofac, market capitalization fell too low. Pilkington, acquired by Nippon Sheet Glass. Plessey, acquired by GEC and Siemens. Polypec, collapsed in 1990. Polymetal, market capitalization fell too low. Powergen, acquired by EON UK. Provident Financial, market capitalization fell too low. FTSE, market capitalization fell too low. Punch Taverns, market capitalization fell too low. Racal Electronics, acquired by Thomson CSF and then Thales Group. Railtrack, collapsed in 1993. Rank Hovis McDougall, acquired by Premier Foods. Reckitt and Coleman, merged with Benckiser to form Reckitt Benckiser. Reedland, acquired by Lafarge. Reed International, merged with Elsevier to form Reed Elsevier. Rentokil Initial, market capitalization fell too low. Resolution plc, acquired by Pearl Group. RMC Group, acquired by Cemex. Rothmans International, acquired by British American Tobacco. J. Rothschild, renamed St. James's Place and market capitalization fell too low. Roundtrees, acquired by Nestlé. Royal Insurance, merged with Sun Alliance Group to form Royal and Sun Alliance. Saatchi & Saatchi, acquired by Publicis. Safeway, acquired by Morrisons. Scottish and Newcastle, acquired by a consortium formed of Heineken and Carlsberg. Scottish Hydroelectric, merged with Southern Electric to form Scottish and Southern Energy. Scottish Power, acquired by Iberdrola. Sears, acquired by January Investments, itself controlled by Philip Green. Securica, merged with Group 4 Falck to form G4S. Sedgwick, acquired by Marsh & McLennan. Segro, market capitalization fell too low. Seymour Group, acquired by Schlumberger. Serco Group, market capitalization fell too low. Shell Transport and Trading Company, now reorganized with Royal Dutch Petroleum Company as Royal Dutch Shell. SEAB, merged with BT to form Invens. SmithKline Beecham, merged with Glaxo Wellcome to form GlaxoSmithKline. Smiths Industries, renamed to Smiths Group. Southern Electric, merged with Scottish Hydroelectric to form Scottish and Southern Energy. Spirent, market capitalization fell too low. Stagecoach Group, market capitalization fell too low. Standard Telephones and Cables, renamed STC and acquired by Nortel. Storehouse, renamed Mothercare. Sun Alliance Group, merged with Royal Insurance to form Royal and Sun Alliance. Sun Life Assurance, acquired by AXA. Sun Life and Provincial Holdings, acquired by AXA. Tarmac, acquired by Anglo American. Tate & Lyle, market capitalization fell too low. Taylor Wimpey, market capitalization fell too low. Taylor Woodrow, merged with George Wimpey to form Taylor Wimpey. Tellurist Communications, merged with NTL to form NTL. Tellurist now Virgin Media. Thames Water, acquired by RWE and then sold to Macquarie Bank. The Energy Group, acquired by Texas Utilities and then by EON UK. Thomas Cook Group, market capitalization fell too low. Thomson Reuters, delisted shares from the London Stock Exchange as it ceased to be a dual-listed company. Thorn, acquired by Nomura Group. Thorn Emi, renamed Emi Group and then acquired by Terra Firma Capital Partners. Thus, market capitalization fell too low, subsequently acquired by Cable and Wireless Worldwide. TI Group, acquired by Smiths Group. Tompkins, acquired by Onyx Corporation and Canada Pension Plan Investment Board. Trafalgar House, acquired by Kvarna. TSB Group, merged with Lloyds Bank to form Lloyds TSB. Trusthouse Forte, acquired by Granada. TUI Travel, market capitalization fell too low. Ultramar, acquired by LASMO and now part of Eni. Unigate, renamed Unic, then market capitalization fell too low. United Biscuits, acquired by consortium of financial investors. United Business Media, market capitalization fell too low. Vedanta Resources, market capitalization fell too low. Warburg SG, acquired by Swiss Bank Corporation, now part of UBS. Welcome, merged with Glaxo to form Glaxo Wellcome, then with SmithKline Beecham to form GlaxoSmithKline. W. H. Smith, market capitalization fell too low. William Hill, market capitalization fell too low. Williams Holdings, demerged into Kidd and Chubb Security, both now part of United Technologies Corporation. Willis Caroon, acquired by Trinity Acquisition on behalf of Kohlberg Kravis Roberts and renamed Willis Group. Willis Faber, acquired by Trinity Acquisition on behalf of Kohlberg Kravis Roberts and renamed Willis Caroon and then Willis Group. Wood Group, market capitalization fell too low. Woolwich, acquired by Barclays. Yale Group, market capitalization fell too low. Zeneca, merged with Astra to form AstraZeneca. Source: FTSE 100 Constituent Changes PDF, 57.9 kilobytes.
FT30.
The oldest continuous index in the UK is the FT30, also known as the Financial Times Index or the FT Ordinary Index, FTOI. It was established in 1935 and nowadays is largely obsolete due to its redundancy. It is similar to the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and companies listed are from the industrial and commercial sectors. Financial sector companies and government stocks are excluded. Of the original constituents, 4 are currently in the FTSE 100. Guest Keenan Nettlefolds, GKN, Tate & Lyle, Imperial Tobacco and Rolls-Royce, although Rolls-Royce has not been continuously listed and Imperial Tobacco was a subsidiary of Hanson for a number of years. ICI was removed when it was taken over by Akzo Nobel in January 2008. 2 of the original FT30 companies are still in that index, GKN and Tate & Lyle. Membership is not strictly based on market capitalization, so this does not mean they are necessarily among the top 30 companies in the FTSE 100. The best performer from the original lineup has been Imperial Tobacco.